You guys, welcome back to the channel. It is day 106 of me uploading to YouTube in a row. And today I've got a juicy one for you. We're going to talk about how much you need to be exercising. Because when you're first starting, I can imagine, it's been a long time for me, so I have to imagine it, that it's pretty overwhelming. There's a lot of information out there, and there's probably an assumption that you need to be training every single day, or if not every single day, then 5 or 6 times per week. But I'm here to tell you that you don't have to do that, particularly if you are right at the start of your fitness journey. So that's what we're going to get into today, because I get it. Like I say, it's completely overwhelming. Before you start, there is so much information. There are so many variables. What exercises do you do? What splits do you do? What time of day do you do? What gym do you join? How do you train? What methodology? Is there a best way? Are there bad types? Is there a best way for your body type? All of these variables, and it can effectively cause paralysis by analysis in your brain, and as a result, you end up doing nothing. It's so funny, just off topic by the way. Yesterday, for the first time in 106 days, I actually got a negative comment, which I embrace. I embrace the criticism, but it was quite a funny negative comment. Someone criticized me for trying to look more muscular than I actually am because I was keeping my elbow at an angle. Just to kind of zoom out and show you guys, I have elbow rests, as most of these office chairs do, which is why my elbow is at an angle, if you were wondering. If you want me to sit like this, I will do, but it just looks a little bit weird, and I'll be honest, it's not that comfortable. So I'm gonna sit like this, and if you don't like it, do one. Right, anyway, let's get back to it. How much do you need to be working out? Well, listen, there's obviously no one right answer for everybody, isn't there? But I'm gonna angle this video at the people who are just getting started on their fitness journey, because I would imagine the people who are watching it are probably the ones who don't necessarily have that knowledge, who are keen to start, but they're probably a little bit overwhelmed by all the information and they're not sure what to do. So hopefully this video is gonna provide you with a little bit of context and also just a little bit of solace, a little bit of hope that actually you don't have to be training like an absolute maniac 6 or even 7 days a week, because you really, really don't. But I get it. Like I said, there is a lot of information and there's a lot of variables. And what makes it, I suppose, harder is a lot of that information conflicts one another as well, doesn't it? So let me break it down for you in a super simple way, remove any confusion so that you can get started with the confidence that you are actually doing the right thing. Okay, this means that you're going to have peace of mind, and you're going to go into the gym with the right intention, and most importantly of all, an all-in attitude. Because I think, if I think about this in another context, let's say business, for example, or posting on YouTube, if you go into it with well, I think this is the right way to do it, but maybe I should do it this way, or I've heard this could work, or maybe I should try that, you're kind of putting the handbrake, it's like driving with the handbrake on a little bit. So I believe now that whatever you do, you've got to have an all-in attitude, and you really have to kind of let go and turn the handbrake off, or put the handbrake off and just go all in on it, okay? So that's really what I hope you get out of this video. So first and foremost, what I would suggest you to do if you are brand new to the gym is aim to go 3 times per week. 3 times per week, ideally with some days rest in between. So for example, you could do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you could do Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, you could do Monday, Thursday, Sunday, you get the idea. But as a way you can, try to create a little bit of gap in between those sessions, particularly at the beginning, because you're gonna have what we call DOMS, which is delayed onset of muscle soreness, okay? So this is where you're gonna feel like you can't do specific movements, all right? Now, these 3 training sessions, they don't need to be any longer than 45 minutes. When you're first getting started, if you go into the gym with the right intention and the right attitude, and you say, right, I'm setting a timer, it's 45 minutes, I'm gonna train properly, and I'm gonna get out of here, I guarantee you're gonna make more progress than the vast majority of people. And here's why. The vast majority of people, let's say they're more experienced than you, they're training 5 days a week, right? The biggest mistake, or one of the biggest mistakes I should say, that I see a lot of men make in the gym, particularly men, is they're not training with the right intensity. And I say this to guys, if you train 3 times a week, 45 minutes, and you go hard for those 45 minutes, and hard is obviously contextual to where you at and where your level is at, then you are gonna make so much progress, okay? And I'm gonna talk you through how you can measure that and what you need to do to make that progress as well. So 3 times a week, 45 minutes, leaving a rest days in between, okay? What I would say about the rest days, I would try and make your Monday session non-negotiable. Reason being is that physical exercise, the endeavor of it, it's something that no matter who you are, what you're trying to achieve, there are no shortcuts, there are no hacks, you have to do the work. And I have always found that if you get up on a Monday with the right intention, even if you feel like rubbish, and go to the gym or do any form of exercise, to be honest, it doesn't even have to be going to the gym, you're just gonna feel so much better going into the rest of the day, and it's gonna set you up to win the rest of the week. Win the Monday, win the week. People talk about winning the morning, winning the day, right? Well, I say win the Monday, win the week. If you kind of dragging your knuckles through your Monday, then it's Tuesday, and maybe I'll do it. Before you know it, it's Friday, and you haven't done anything. You've actually probably fallen backwards. So try as you can to make Monday, and if you want to talk absolute ideals, Monday morning a non-negotiable, okay? So 3 times a week, 45 minutes a session, Monday non-negotiable, rest days in between sessions. What else have I said? The next one. All of these 3 sessions, we want them to be full body sessions. That means you're going to be working all of the major muscle groups at least 3 times per week. That is going to do 2 things. First and foremost, it's going to burn the most calories per session, okay? Because when you're using the biggest muscles in your body, you're burning the most calories, okay? And the biggest muscles, most of them are around your hips. It's your hamstrings, your glutes, and your quadriceps, okay? So sort of the top part of your legs, if you like. Those are the biggest muscles in the human body. Now, of course, you've also got the chest, you've got the lats. These are big muscles as well. But the beautiful thing is if you're doing full body training, you're going to maximize the calorie burn. So it's going to help with the fat loss. It's also going to help with the hormonal response because you're doing compound movements, you're doing big multi-joint, multi-muscular movements. And it's going to give you the best bang for the buck, to be honest, as well. It's going to help you build and develop those big muscles, whether you're a man or you're a woman, by the way, I should say. And the beautiful thing is here, right, if you think about this in context of everything I've said so far, what I'm asking you to do here is spend less than 3% of your week in the gym. 3 45-minute sessions is what? 2.5 hours a week, so that's less than 3 hours. You have 168 hours in every single week, right? So this is less than 3% of your time. Now, let's be real. You might be busy. You probably are busy, because guess what? Everybody's busy. Everybody's stressed. Everybody has things that they'd rather be doing. But guess what? If you make the time, you're going to feel so much better. Seeing the gym, the exercise, as an investment rather than a cost, rather than as a burden, is a much better mindset and a mind frame to be going into, okay? As I said, let me just touch on this a little bit more detail though. You want to be focusing on what we call compound movements, okay? So compound movements are multi-joint, multi-muscle exercises. So good examples of these would be like the squat, or the deadlift, or the overhead press, or the bent over row, or the bench press. Now, you can Google all of the ones I've just said. You can find videos on these, but what you'll see with all of these movements is that they're multi-joint, multi-muscle movements. Another couple of good examples for the upper body: dips, chin-ups, pull-ups, press-ups, even anything like that, okay? You want to be focusing on these, like I say, because A, you're getting the best bang for your buck, so you're using multiple muscles at the same time, and secondly, because you're using the biggest muscles in your body, which is going to elicit the biggest calorie burn and the best hormonal response. So there's some science behind this as well, guys. When you're just starting out, I can appreciate, and I've done other videos around this, around sort of my best advice for sort of newbies going into the gym. When you're first getting started, I appreciate massively that the gym is a very intimidating environment. Even now, I've been training 16 years. When I join or go into a new gym, that first session, I still feel a little bit uncomfortable. So, embrace the fact that you're always going to feel that regardless of where, if you're going into a new gym. But if you're consistently going to the same gym over time, that sort of fear, that insecurity, that lack of confidence is going to dissipate. It's going to go away as long as you're consistent with it. But the mindset I would get yourself in before you're going into the gym is this: every single person in that gym walked into there for the first time, and today it is literally just your turn, guys. So that's the mindset I would go into it with. And what I would say is, remember I've said to you that we're going to do 3 sessions a week, 45 minutes. We're going to do full body sessions, okay? You don't need to start by doing anything overcomplicated. What I would do is go into the gym, I would find a spot, I would grab 2 dumbbells, and I would create yourself, and you can find thousands, if not millions, of free dumbbell-only workout plans on YouTube, or drop me a message if you want me to kind of build one for you. I'm more than happy. It's, that's the easy part of finding these workouts, and then just do them. You don't need to move. 45 minutes. The time that you spend resting in between your sets, try not to go on your phone. Try to look around. And the reason I'm encouraging you to look up and look around is you'll notice that most people, A, they don't care what you're doing. B, they don't have a clue what they're doing. C, they are not training hard at all. And you will realize that if you're going in there, turning up, being consistent, doing your hard 3 45-minute sessions per week, you're already going to be in the top 10% of people in that gym within 1 month. So it's very quick to get very comfortable in these environments, and any insecurity or fear or anything like that you had before will go very quickly, guys. I absolutely promise you. You don't need to necessarily be worrying about machines, or certainly not about barbells as well. What I would say is graduate up towards those. So like once you're getting comfortable with the dumbbells and you feel like you've got a bit of confidence to go and try a few of the more simple machines, like maybe a chest press or a shoulder press or a lat pull down machine or something like that, go and give them a go. Watch other people using them. Watch people who you can tell know how to use them. Like, use a little bit of intuition here. If you see someone and they're like throwing it around or doing something dumb like you see on like, TikTok shorts or whatever you call them, like obviously don't copy that person, but use a little bit of intuition. Copy the people who clearly know what they're doing, or even better, ask. Just ask someone. I guarantee you go up to the biggest guy in the gym and say, hey, I'm brand new to the gym. I'd really appreciate just like a little bit of advice, like just 30 seconds of your time. Trust me when I say this, that guy will be more than happy to help you. I guarantee it, okay? So those are the other things I would say. The other 2 pieces of advice I would give you is to train outside of peak times so that you're not necessarily intimidated by the busyness of the situation, and make sure you're going to the right gym. Environment trumps will, guys. I learned that from a mentor of mine last year, and it's such an important framework to understand, because you could have the most motivation in the world, or all the willpower, you could have the best training program, but if you're training in a really rubbish gym, like one of these leisure center gyms or a pure gym or something like that, I get it that they're cheap and they're convenient, but the people in there, they're not there to make progress. They're not there really to even look after their health. They're ticking a box. They're doing it so they can go and tell their mates, or they tell their colleagues, or tell their mum or dad that they've been to the gym that day, but they're not actually applying themselves. They're not really going to make any progress, because you watch people in these gyms, trust me, it's like they speak the fucking Sims language. They're like, and I'm like, what? Are you even human? Like, trust me when I say this, go to the right gym. Maybe that costs a little bit more money. I'm not saying you need to go to one of these super premium expensive gyms. I'm saying go to a gym where people are actually training, like looking after themselves. They're training with the intention of bettering themselves. Doesn't have to be like training to a CrossFit competition or a bodybuilding show or anything like that. I'm just saying that you want to surround yourself with the right people, and the environment of that gym really dictates your progress. I've certainly found that myself as well, okay? What else have I got to say? Oh, I suppose the last point here is just accept that you will suck at the beginning, and it's very normal. And the other thing you need to realize is that the progress isn't going to be instant. Think about it this way. All of the bad habits in our life, the reason it's very easy to fall back into them, smoking, drinking, social media, dating apps, casual sex, gambling, whatever it might be, drugs. The reason these are so appealing and it's easy to fall back into them and people slip up and relapse is because you get cheap, instant dopamine. When it comes to something healthy, whether that's eating healthily or training or something like that in the gym or running or whatever it might be, you're never going to get that instant gratification. And I'm here to tell you, unfortunately, I'm always a very transparent guy. It's going to take longer and it's going to be harder than you can imagine right now in your head. But the key point is, if you stick with it, you also can't imagine how good it's going to feel. That's the real benefit, guys. Like, you think, oh yeah, it's going to feel good. No. It's going to feel amazing. And more importantly than that, it's going to help you to realize that your potential is a lot higher than you thought it was. And then your mind starts to open and you start to think outwardly, and you start to think, wow, I've achieved this on my body. I've worked hard and I've got the result, and I had the right mindset and I've done the thing. What other things could I do? Maybe I could go into work and ask for a pay rise because now I've got more confidence. Maybe I could go up to that girl because like I think she's hot and I'm more confident now. All of these things, it will improve every other aspect of your life, guys. It's why I sit here and talk so passionately about it. For me, it's not about getting the biggest biceps or lifting the heaviest weight. These are all nice things to have, and they're aspirational and they're aesthetic and all of that, and I get it. But for me, it's much more about what's going up in here. So to answer the original question of this whole video, how much do you need to be training? As an absolute minimum, you want to be getting in that gym 3 times per week. If you want my honest advice and you want to be making progress. But again, reframe that if that sounds like a lot to you. That's less than 3% of your entire week. 3 45-minute full body sessions where you're focused, dialed in, and doing the work, guys. That is all you need to get progress. I absolutely promise you. Now, of course, if you're already at 3 times per week and you have plateaued, the obvious thing to do here is to up it to 4 sessions per week. But as I said, I've angled this video very purposefully at the people who are probably feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the entire sort of idea of going to the gym and all this sort of stuff. And I'm here to tell you that despite all the conflicting information, despite all the sort of confusion around what's out there on the internet and all the variables that you've got to play around with, you don't need to overcomplicate this, you don't need to overthink this, and you don't need to overburden yourself with this, particularly at the beginning. Go 3 times per week, learn to enjoy it, get in the habit and the routine of going, and then once you're there, we can talk about getting you up to 4 times per week. And in fact, I'll be honest with you, you're not gonna need someone like me to motivate you to go 4 times per week. You're gonna wanna go 4 times per week, trust me. So, I'm gonna leave this video here. There's plenty of action-packed. I hope it was useful for you guys. If you would like me to do any other videos about anything else, drop me a comment below. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 107. Let's go.